More marketing is not the solution. Pipeline congruency is. Now, this is what I usually see. Most 7 and 8 figure remodelers are in one of three camps. They got burnt by agencies or lead vendors and then they took things in house, or they stopped trying to use marketing altogether. If they are working with someone, it does usually look like this, where they have 2 to 3 meta lead vendors running at the same time, 1 to 2 Google people each doing their own thing. There's no shared plan, there's no shared data, there's no shared ownership. And after bad experiences, they default to what feels safest, which is buying leads. Not because it's best, but because it feels controllable. It feels like you're reducing risks, but that's exactly where the issue is. It can work for some in the short term, but I'm referring to the long term. That's where the biggest problems arise. And why does this create pipeline chaos? The thing is that buying leads feels simple, but it fragments everything else. More, if you have a vendor, they're going to vouch for their own piece. No one looks at the whole funnel. No one looks at capacity. No one looks at timing. No one looks at attribution across channels. Not to mention, most vendors only care about cost per lead. They rarely ever look at cost per acquisition. And so your pipeline will become muddled with gaps, inconsistency, and reduced efficiency. Now, there are two qualitative factors that can actually change outcomes. The first one being clarity. You need to have deep clarity on who you're targeting, what problem you're solving, how each channel will fit, what stage demand is in, where the bottlenecks are, and without that type of clarity, optimization is going to just be guesswork. Most remodelers and honestly businesses in general, when they have any sort of marketing message or any sort of communication, they do not have deep clarity on who they're targeting. They don't make sure that there is pipeline congruency across each step of the way, and this continuous optimization on making sure that we have clear a clear understanding of who we're targeting and our operations are dialed in on that. Now, this is a little exercise just to share with you in case you haven't done it yet. It's called a buyer persona. This is an example of it where it's a snapshot of a customer of yours, just to give you an idea properly of the actual person, their key information, what they do, how they do it, what their life is like, what their pain points are, what their expectations are from you, and what the influencing factors would be, even their level of knowledge and experience. And there are other factors that come into, like with remodeling, you obviously want to understand their budget, their expectations, their dreams, their goals, their fears when it comes to working with a remodeling company. What are they actually going to resonate with? If you're not able to get it this grainy into your marketing messages, you're leaving out on a ton of revenue on the table, especially as your ad spends climb up to the few $1,000s a month, or basically 5 figures a month. That is when you're losing out on a ton of revenue because your marketing messages are just not dialed in. The other thing that changes outcomes is execution speed. Most businesses don't fail because of bad ideas, they just fail because changes happen too slowly. I've seen it a lot of times, right? Decisions will be made quarterly instead of weekly, changes delayed because no one owns the system, data is just reviewed too late to matter. And execution speed here compounds just like neglect or mistakes too. If you are the owner, the CEO, the founder, and you're busy working on the business, you most likely will not be able to handle this to the level that it deserves. And that is why you need somebody competent in place or a team in place in order to handle that, that actually has systems in place to make sure that they take the right decisions with deep clarity at the right speed. That is what helps a lot with growth. And again, the idea here is not about doing more marketing. It's about removing friction across the entire pipeline and making sure that our small improvements, the decisions that we make, compound instead of just canceling each other out. Let me know if that helped. You can comment down below if you have any questions. This was just a quick video on why I've seen that a lot of remodelers make this mistake and how I think that you should approach it. If you guys have any other topics that you'd like me to cover or anything specific that you want me to talk about, you can comment that down below. Feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn, or you can check our website out too. That's in the link. Thanks for watching.